you can sell. You know you can sell. And when you take a consultation, you often close it. So why can't your staff do the same thing? You've hired people you believe in. They've got the potential, clearly. You've trained them. You've watched them. You've coached them. You've corrected them. And still, they just cannot do what you do. And it's maddening because to you, it doesn't feel all that complicated. You get in front of someone, you have a real conversation, and they join. That's it. Simple. But when your staff does it, it's like watching someone try to cook your favorite meal and just completely miss what makes it good. And you can see exactly what's wrong, but you can't figure out why they can't see it too. Well, here's why. And I promise this is going to reframe everything you thought you knew about why you're good at sales in the first place. And by the end, you'll know the 3 pieces that you'll need to get right for your people to begin outselling you. My name is Mike Arce. I'm the host of the Behind Gym Doors podcast and CEO of GSD Gyms. We've now worked with over 4,300 gyms and fitness studios all over the world, and we've helped more gyms get to $100,000 a month in revenue than anyone on the planet, even the ones that thought that their model couldn't. And if you're a bit stuck right now and you feel like you've done everything to grow your fitness studio and you haven't been a part of what we're doing here at GSD Gyms, well, then you haven't done everything. And you can learn more about what we're doing here by going to 100kplan.com. So I think what's really, really frustrating before we dive into the 3 big pieces that you're going to have to figure out here is we see people that we've hired that have potential. They're outgoing. They smile a lot. They seem to be super articulate. They got great enthusiasm. They love the product. So that's a lot of ingredients for somebody that has like potential to be really, really good. And one would expect that that person is able to generate really good results. Yet somehow that potential doesn't lead to results. What's also frustrating is maybe some people don't have as great potential, maybe even they do, and they're just doing a ton of activity. And that activity should yield really great results. And they're doing the activity and also not getting the results. And so it's hard because as an entrepreneur, as the owner, or maybe you're the manager watching this video, you're like, I don't get it. They've got great potential. They're doing all this stuff. They should be getting results. Like the person with this talent, this personality, this charisma, and making all the calls, you're doing 50, 100 calls a day. I don't get it. Why aren't they getting results? Well, it's less about the activity and it's less about the potential. All this means is they could if the ingredients are right. And all this means is they're willing if the ingredients are right. So the will is here. The skill is here. What's missing is the ingredients to make sure that they're actually selling. And so what we're going to talk about today is the 3 big pieces to making sure that you actually have a process in place for your salespeople to be able to sell without you. Now, we call this the mountain, and it's CPT Mountain, but for simplicity and so you can easily remember what it is, we're going to call it CPT Sales Machine. TM. Okay, so what is the CPT Sales Machine? Well, CPT is an acronym and it stands for something which each side of this triangle represents one of those. And we're going to do the first one because if you don't have these 3 down, you're not going to make sales. And I'm also going to go in order of importance. Like you have to have these 3 things. And here's what I'll tell you. The first side right here is what the owner typically has. And this is why the owner sells so well. Oddly enough, the owner usually doesn't have this side down, and they usually don't have this side down. And this side is so strong that they're able to actually make a good amount of progress with just this one piece. But the reason they're not able to get their employees to do it is because their employees will never have this piece as well as them. And without this and this, they're nothing. And so a really, really good trained staff has all 3 pieces at a pretty good balance. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So what is the C? Let's talk about that. The C stands for conviction. As the owner, you have massive conviction. I mean, would you ever have risked all this money to start a business if you didn't truly believe in what this thing could do? Would you truly continue to work as much as you do? Would you truly continue to blast out all you're doing in marketing and promoting and Instagram and all that if you didn't believe in what you did? Of course, you believe in this as much as you believe in damn near anything. And your people likely won't be able to believe in it as much as you, for the same reason your people probably won't believe in your kid as much as you would. If you ever watch parents of kids, they think their kid on the basketball team is going to be the next Michael Jordan. They're like, oh, this kid's got something. I don't know what it is. He's got something. Did you see that throw? Did you see that throw? And everyone's like, yeah, it looks like every other throw I've seen every other 10-year-old make. But you saw something different. Why? Because it's your kid. You see all the good in it. You believe in this kid. It's the same thing with this business. You've heard people reference your business as their baby. Well, for you, you have massive conviction that the other parents or people that are part of the company just won't have. Now, here's the dangerous part about having a lot of conviction. Obviously, you need it in order to have great sales. But the dangerous part is it's good enough to not have the other two pieces and still be successful. But what happens is you don't have, well, let's just go to the next piece, which is a real process. A lot of people think they have a process, like a lot of owners, but when I've asked owners to sell me, and then I've watched them sell other people, they kind of sell everybody a little bit differently. In fact, sometimes they sell people very differently. Sometimes they're completely off. If you listen to one versus another, it's like a whole different script and process or framework. They're just winging it. And they feel confident doing it because they know they're going to believe in the product. They're going to believe in the person. And they're hitting all what we call the 4 levels of certainty, which I'm going to break down as well. 4 levels of certainty. Owners are pretty good at doing this intuitively without being taught. And employees usually aren't as good at it at first because, again, they don't have that massive conviction. So what happens is we're selling, and the main reason that we as owners are making sales is because of our enthusiasm and our conviction. It's like intoxicating, and the person just believes in it. You believe in it so much, I believe in it. And so they just move and they do it. Well, then you can't teach it to your people because conviction is hard to teach. We're going to talk about 3 things you can do to increase big time the level of conviction in your people, but it's still hard to get it into your people. And so when you go to teach them what you're doing in sales, you thought you were really good at sales, but you're not as good as you think. You're just good at selling the thing you believe in more than anything else. If I told you to come sell for me, you'd probably bomb. If I told you to go sell for someone else's company, you'd probably bomb. But inside, you're probably like, no way, I'd crush. I could sell anything. I could sell ice to Eskimos. First off, don't sell ice to Eskimos. They don't need it, so it's just dumb. Right? Your stubbornness is actually going to cause you to never be able to develop salespeople because you truly believe that there is just no good salespeople out there. But the truth is, they need a good sales process, and you don't have one. And they're not selling as good as you because the only thing you're leaning on is a conviction level that they will never ever have. So what's actually good, when I see the best owners operate, is they create a process that they may not sell as good as they do without it and just winging it with their conviction. They might sell, instead of closing 60 or 70%, they're closing 50%. But they're able to train this to virtually anybody. And their people are able to close that amount while the owner can work on bigger, better things that allow their people to have more at-bats, where at the grand scheme of it, it ends up being a better overall net result. And so, yes, conviction is a part of it. We want to make sure we have a process. And I'm going to go into the third thing, the T, in a second. But before I do, I want to make sure that we talk about 3 things that we see our best gym owners do and fitness studio owners do that increases this level of conviction. Okay, so let's do that now. Because you want your people to have massive conviction. Number 1, it's talking about the mission a lot. Like, why do we do what we do? Reminding people of the JTBD, job to be done. Reminding people of why we exist. Why are we here? What's our job? Our job isn't to make friends. Our job isn't to get people to like us and be like, oh, I love those guys over there. Who cares if they love us? What I'd rather hear, rather than, oh, I love Mike and his team. What I'd rather hear is, I don't know if I really like them as people, but dude, they are the best at what they do. Like they're just the best. I don't know if there's anybody that does what they do as well as what they do. They're just incredible. Fortunately, we have both. We have people that we really enjoy working with and vice versa. I think we got a great community. And I truly believe we are the best at what we do. But if I had to pick, it's like, okay, I love those guys. Yeah, but I'm still looking to see if maybe they're the ones I want to do. But I love them. They're just the best people. Or, yeah, I don't know if I really like them, but they're the best. Like, they're just the best. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's as good as them. I'd rather have this story. Would you? If the answer is no, you got to question your business, right? Because this is where you need to be caring about. It's more about, are you the best at what you decided to do for a living, for a career? And if you're not going to go for best, then just shut it down. You should go for best. And so reminding people of what's the mission? What are we here to do? So for example, at GSD Gyms, we're here to help gyms get more money, more members, and more minutes, time in their day. We want to help people think differently in business so they can actually be better. We want to help businesses that didn't believe they could even do $40,000 a month do $100,000 a month. We want to break belief systems. And when I talk like that to my people, it's easy for them to really do the right things without being told specifically or exactly what to do because they understand the mission. So it's important to constantly talk about the mission, why we're doing what we're doing, in almost every opportunity that you can, not just like once. Training is not something that you did. Training is something that you do. LeBron James doesn't just do layups once and he knows how to do it, so he doesn't do it again. No, if you watch every NBA game, all the NBA athletes, including the Hall of Famers, are doing layups for 15 minutes before the game starts. Why? Because they shouldn't miss. Like, these are the fundamentals. So the mission is a fundamental. As a CEO, you should constantly be talking about the vision and the mission and where we're going and why we're doing it. And it's just part of your practice. It's every day. Training's not something you did. It's something you do. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more detail. What are some other ways that you can create massive conviction within your people? Well, another one is, let me do that in red. My OCD is gonna not like that. Okay, daily wins. So having your people share daily wins in your channel. We have a Slack channel called Amazing Stories, and in there, all different people at the company like to share things that are happening that are really, really cool in our members' worlds, right? So for you, same thing. In our gyms, same thing. So a win could be something as simple as Chris just did his 200th class. Or Jane just hit her milestone of wanting to lose 20 pounds. Or Chris just signed up for a 5K, never thought he'd be able to do one, right? These are examples of like daily wins. But then if you as the owner post a win, explain how that ties to the mission. So for example, Chris just signed up for a 5K, never thought he would do it. This is why we do what we do, to help people break their current belief systems of what's possible in their lives. And guys, we did it. Chris is a shining example of us doing the job to be done. Great job at being the greatest. That's an example of like how you can post it. Now, if somebody else just posted, Chris just signed up to do a 5K, never thought he'd be able to do it. You can comment on that with everything I just said. So your people are realizing that this isn't just a cool thing that happened. This is, by design, us doing what we said we would do. Us being the greatest, us breaking belief systems, as an example, okay? So you want to share daily wins that tie back to the mission. And then the last one, which is kind of similar, but it's a little bit more in depth when you have meetings. Now, as a owner or leader, there's a chance that you're having weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings or monthly meetings with your team. Whatever those are, I would say it's hard to do them weekly sometimes, but at the very, very least, monthly stories. And if you could do them more than monthly, like weekly or bi-weekly, great. But monthly stories. This is where you, as the owner in the meeting, say, hey guys, I got a different story for you this month and I'm super excited about it. Take 5 minutes. Take your time and just explain, hey, we have one woman, Mary. How many of you guys know Mary? Yeah, she's amazing. And I got to tell you, when I first met Mary, I was super worried about her, and here's why. And here's what she was worried about. Boom. And then you start breaking down, but now here's where Mary is at. And you start breaking it down, and then you tie it back to the mission. But guys, this is who we are. This isn't shocking to us anymore. We're not surprised by this. We're always going to be emotional about it because it's amazing, but we're not surprised. This is what we do. This is who we are here at GSD Fitness. And every person that walks through that door thinking about getting a membership with us, I don't even think they're aware of what they're about to sign up for. It's going to change their life. It's what we do. And you guys are at the beginning of that. And I just want to remind you that when you're meeting with people and you're thinking about selling them, you're not selling them a membership. You're selling them something they couldn't even imagine was for sale. They couldn't even draw it up because they didn't think it was possible. That's what we do here. So really make sure that we're helping people in that process because we're so dang good at what they want from us. Make sense? Yeah. So help create massive conviction within your people through stories, through daily wins, and constantly tying everything back to the mission. So they just have so much evidence that it's undeniable that everybody should have a membership here, or at least the ones that fit our target demographic, right? But everyone should have a membership here because if they don't, it's such a huge loss for them in their life. Okay, so massive conviction. Next, we want to make sure we have a process. Now, in the process, we want to have 3 different things. There you go. There's my OCD again. Let me get to this. Okay, we want to have a process for pre-meeting, meaning before they actually came into the studio for their tour or session or whatever it was. And then we want to have one for during. And then we want to have one for post. So post when they came in. So what do I mean by that? Well, in the sales process, pre is everything from the opt-in all the way to them walking in the door. Like once they walk in the door, boom, we just shifted into the during phase. But everything from here, so like the call that we had, making sure it's unique. And we're going to break these down a little bit as well because I think these need to be broken down. But making sure everything's unique there. The same thing in the during and in the post. So let's break that down. Okay, so let's talk about the pre. Okay, in the pre, what we're really talking about is when the lead first comes in, we care about 3 things. I'm going to put lead, ops, in. And the 3 things are, number 1, the speed in which we get to that lead. Let's face it, like most people aren't forever dedicated and committed to anything. I think the one thing I wish I could sell, and I'd be a billionaire if I could sell it, would be discipline and commitment, right? So, but the truth is people get like these moments of motivation. And if you can jump into their world in that moment, your probability of making a sale is so much higher. But if you let that moment fade out, there's so many other things that come in. Maybe they fill out that form because they saw something or they felt something like, I just need to make a change. And then all of a sudden, like a few hours go by and their kid's complaining because they're getting bullied at school, or their husband's upset because, he feels like he's super stressed at work and he needs someone to talk to or whatever. And now all of a sudden she just feels like she can't put herself first right now. She doesn't have the bandwidth. And so all that kind of went away, right? And motivation kind of shifted to other areas in her life. So we want to make sure speed to lead is number 1. We want to call people right away. The next thing is uniqueness. So when we follow up with people, are we sounding like everybody else? We want to make sure we sound super interested in them. And we have our best studios. They're sending like video text to people, or video or voice notes to people, or images with of themselves in the studio, holding up a sign with their name in it, letting them know we're waiting for you. Like these are the things that they do to be different, to not be like the other 10 studios they've worked with in the past, like something different where they feel different. We're going to dive into that because the 4 levels of certainty are a big piece of that. So they need to feel like this is different. And then frequency. It's not bugging. Calling somebody 10, 12 times, I know that may seem like bugging, but the truth is somebody like me, you're going to have to call me that many times. Because if you call me like right now, I'm filming and I'm not going to answer you. And then if you call me in 3 or 4 hours from now, I might actually be like with the kids now because it's going to be 6 o'clock at night and I'm going to be with them and my attention's on them. And if you call me 3 hours from then, I'm going to be focused on my wife. And it's not that I'm rude. It's just that I have my priorities and calling you back is not one of them. So really it's about timing. And the only way you can have like perfect timing is by calling all the time. And then all of a sudden one of them, you call me and I go, hello, I'm available, right? I wouldn't have said hello if I wasn't. And then you would have been like, hey, Mike, this is Chris over at GSD Fitness. I'm sorry, I know I called you a few times. No, this is perfect, dude. I appreciate you following up. How many times have you had that happen where somebody's like, dude, I really do appreciate you following up. I've been super busy. So you got to chase that feeling. But having speed, uniqueness, and frequency is super important. The other thing in the pre-phase is you want to make sure it's about them. Now, in a previous episode, I talked about the sales process and how to make sure it's super effective, and I dove really hard into this. This piece right here is what'll make a 30% close a 90% close. This right here is what gets somebody to actually get 15 members a month to go to 35, 40 members a month. It's really understanding this piece. So if you haven't watched that video, I definitely recommend watching the sales process video. It's the video that we did just before this one. Okay, we'll put a link in the description as well. And then also, lead gen. We want to, in the pre-phase, we want to be able to generate leads in this pre-phase. What do I mean by that? So when I'm booking the appointment, hey, so Chris, I know you said you wanted to do 4 o'clock today. I think that's actually perfect. Just so you know, the class that you chose is actually one of our most popular classes. The instructor is fantastic. And it's usually not open as much as it is this last minute, but there's actually 2 spots open. So I don't know if you have somebody that you'd like to bring with you, but I would strongly recommend having someone come with you because this class is a blast. So you have anybody, like who would you like to have join you? You'll be surprised, 1 out of 3 people will have somebody. That means if you booked 30 people, you actually got 40 opportunities. If you had 50 books, you had like 60 some opportunities, right? So when you think about like how little areas, little opportunities, little margins and percentage points, that's what you want to do. So generating leads is also an opportunity. And then lastly, fun. You want to have fun in here. So you want to do your best to make them smile, let them know they're going to have a blast. You got a gift waiting for them. All that's super important. It needs to feel laid back and they need to feel relaxed with you. Okay, now what about the during phase? So let's do during right here. Actually, I'm going to need that space. Here we go. Okay, in the during phase, kind of bringing it back to here, and you'll see in that other video that we talked about, we need to make sure that they feel it's about them. I don't want to talk about me and my kids and things that I care about. It doesn't matter. I'm not tying anything back to me. Everything is focused on them. And then checklist. So I want to make sure that my people know where they're going. So we're going to do this first, then we're going to do this second, then we're going to do this third, then we're going to do this fourth. It's a smooth transition. They're not winging it. They're not random. Like there is an actual checklist that they're taking people through. Okay. That is extremely important. This is where a lot of people mess up. But if you think about the companies that have done it the best, McDonald's, they sell a mediocre burger. Let's face it. I mean, it is kind of delicious, but it's mediocre. It's not like the best burgers that you'll have out there. It's definitely not in the top 20, right? Burgers. But why do they sell so many? Because it's consistent. I know what I'm getting. And that's what made McDonald's truly blow up. It's their ability to have a system that can get 16-year-old pimple-faced kids that don't really know anything about work because it's probably their first job, go into a place and follow a system that allows them to create the exact same burger as the 1,000 or million other burgers that were made in the last month, the exact same way, taste the exact same way, and take the exact same amount of time. That process is what allows McDonald's to continue to thrive in an area where there's so many better burgers out there. That's where process wins. Another example of process and where it wins, the 1992 Olympic Dream Team, if you ever remember them, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, John Stockton, Scottie Pippen, the best. These are Hall of Famers, all of them. The first time they played together, they lost to a college team. A college team. How did they lose to a college team? These guys? College team played together. They had systems, they had plays, and they ran them. These guys were winging it. Yeah, but they're so good. They're the best. Yeah, I know. I got it. But the process, an average team with an incredible process and execution will always be a great group of individuals with a lack of process. Always. That's how the 92 Dream Team got blown out by a college team. Funny enough, I think it was like a week or so later after they worked together and they created some plays together, flip-flop. They completely demolished and demoralized the college team. So process always wins. So you want to make sure you have a process. You role play that with them. They're like soldiers going through it with their own personality, but they're following the process, okay? And then you're working fun into it. There's some jokes, there's some banter. You want to make sure there's fun in the during. Okay, and then last, the post. This is for the process part. In the post, guess what? About them again. The follow-up text that they get after they left, you should be reminding them in a voice note of, hey, I just want to let you know I had so much fun working out with you. Seriously, you're like going to be one of my favorite members. I can already feel it. The way that you were working out today too, I can tell you're super committed. I love your why, and I can't wait to see what you do here in the next year. It's going to be an amazing year. Something like that is so empowering to that person. It so reinforces their decision. And it also makes you stand out for referrals and reviews as well. Next, double excitement, which kind of echoes what I just said, right? Like, I want them to realize in the next session when they come in, hey, it's you again, man. This is my favorite member, my future favorite member. I already know, right? So you're just reminding them of how much you're excited to work out with them, not how great you are, okay? And then point of sale referrals. At the point of sale, our best gyms that we work with average 7 referrals at the point of every sale. 7. They get 7 referrals. So if you sign up 20 people, you just got 140 referrals. Now, granted, they're not going to be like the most amazing referrals, but like, what if 10% of them are great? You just got 14 referrals in a month. Pretty dang good. So point of sale referrals. By the way, we have trainings on this. So if you do want to learn more about how to work with us, if that's something that's interesting to you, I would recommend really understanding our system more. So you can go to 100kplan.com and you'll be able to learn a lot more about what it looks like to work with us. Okay, so let's go into the third piece now. And truthfully, this piece is great, obviously. This piece is extremely important for scale, but this won't matter if you don't do the third piece. The third piece, the T, is around training. As a reminder, training is not something you did, it is something you do. So you don't do training once and then be like, okay, you're good, and then you never train them again. Training is something you have to do over and over and over. Now there's 3 different styles of training. And by the way, I don't recommend you pick one. I recommend you do all 3. And I'll explain to you what those look like, okay? The best studios we work with, the ones that got like an 80% close rate, regardless of how often they raise their pricing, they just keep their close rate high. They do these 3 different types. So first is a daily training. Now, daily doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in there training them. I would say a good 30 or 40% of the gyms that we work with, because we have a whole sales training portal in 360, which is our platform, they have their people watch about 10 to 15 minutes of sales training a day, because our videos are like 2 to 3 minutes long, and it just teaches one piece of the sales process, one way to look at something in sales. And so they'll maybe watch like 2 to 3 videos every day, and then they have to just check them off, and then you'll be able to see what videos they watch as an admin, which is really, really cool. But ultimately, the idea is like, how do we get them to just do sales training on a daily basis? Very, very important. Now, it could also mean like maybe you do a hybrid where 3 days a week they watch our videos, or they watch some sales videos, or read a book, and then you do a book club around it. Maybe 2 days a week you actually do like a quick 15-minute, hey, let's talk about what you guys dealt with yesterday and how do we work through them. I know with some of our best members like Dave Posen of Soldier Fit, they do a daily sales training. I think it's either 15 or 30 minutes where they actually get on and they talk about yesterday and what needs to be improved, like learning lessons, wins and losses from yesterday. Okay, but you could do either one of those, hybrid, whatever. Next, they also do like monthly. Some do weekly, but at the very least monthly training where it's like a full like 90 minutes. And they go through like different pieces of the sales process. There's a lot of role playing. And by the way, it's not long and drawn out. It's like quick. Go, you go now. Boom, 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 boom. Good, excellent. Go, you go now. I don't want somebody to like go through the entire sales process. It takes forever and it's boring. It's boring for everyone involved. What I want is, okay, you're walking into, prospects walking into the lobby. I want you to greet them. Go. Boom, all the way to the greet, to the next section, which might be like, okay, let's get you filled out of your intake form. That one piece could only be a minute, right? So now you go, okay, guys, how'd you do? Yeah, she did good. What could she have done better? This, yes, go ahead. Can you do that again? Do that again with that. Great, go. So you let your people give the feedback, not you, because the best way to learn something is to teach it. And so you don't want to be better at learning it. You want them to be better at learning it. So when they do something, then you say, okay, guys, great. What did you do right? They say it, great. What could she have done better? Now, if there's nothing she could have done better, go, yeah, do you agree with that? She does? Okay, great. Next. And if you agree with it, great. If you don't, speak up. But the goal is to get them to actually be able to train each other. And our best gyms actually have their own people doing their own training without the owner having to be there, because the system for training has already been created as well. And then the third way to do it is on the spot. Here's what that looks like. Phone call just finishes. You watch the employee book an appointment or not and hang the phone up. And then you or your people can be okay to do this. You go up to them and say, hey, really quick, Stacy, yeah. Hey, just heard that call. Just curious, what do you think you could have done better there? Or just curious, how do you think you did on that one? And I might be like, yeah, I forgot to ask them to book with a friend. Why did you forget? Because I didn't look at the checklist. Why didn't you look at the checklist? Because it wasn't in front of me. Why isn't it in front of you? I don't know. What do we do next time? Get it in front of me and keep it in front of you. Yes. Do it on the next one. By the way, why don't you just call that person back right now and apologize that you didn't realize that there was actually another spot open. See if she wants to bring a friend now. Is that cool? Yeah. Can you do that? Yeah. Any questions? No. Great. Go. Right? And so have them do it. Same thing. If you watch them do a tour at the end of it, hey, really quick, I didn't get to see the whole thing. Truthfully, 1 to 10, how do you feel you did? 8. Great. Why do you think you did an 8? What could have been a 9 or a 10? I could have done this. I could have done that. Okay. Why didn't you? I didn't think of it. How do you think of it next time? Look at the checklist or go through the framework, practice, whatever. Yes. Great. We got to get this to the next one. Fair? Yes. Okay, great. So it's on the spot, like watching them perform and make adjustments. I mean, what's the best way to train a dog? Like at the end of a month, you just like recount all the things you did right and wrong? Or is it like, you just peed on the floor, I'm going to talk about it right now? Or you just peed where you're supposed to pee, we're going to talk about it right now, right? Like the best way to train a dog is instant like feedback. No, did it do it right? Or good boy, this is great. This is what I want to see more of, right? It's the best way to do training is on the spot, in the moment, right reacting to the thing that actually happened. Okay, so here's what I will say. This is something that is really, really hard for a lot of owners to do because they really just want people to just like fly by the seat of their pants and be able to just do this. But I want you to imagine that what you're doing as an owner, there's something called dig a hole or solve a Rubik's Cube. Which one takes more effort? Digging a hole or solving a Rubik's Cube? Now you could say, well, it depends on the hole. It depends on my foundation for the Rubik's Cube. Got it. But like, let's just be general here. The truth is they both take effort. The difference is this is like physical active effort and this one's mental effort. As an entrepreneur, this is what we want to work on, is the system, the process, creating a design, something that can be done. This right here is you actually doing it, you doing the sales and you having the conviction. You're just digging a hole over and over, and we don't want to dig a hole because then we got to be buried in it, right? So we want to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube. It's going to take different effort, but they both take effort. This one's mental. But if you can really focus on like, okay, you know what? How do I build a system to make sure my people can have massive conviction? And how do I build a system to where my people can have a great process for the pre, during, and post? And how do I document and really build out the training and then create the rhythms for my people to have these trainings so that they can really master this? And we can make sure that training is not something you did, but it's something you do. So we do training on a regular basis so that my people can eventually outsell me. And I don't have to be the one doing it all the time. In fact, it's probably better I don't do it because my people are better than me. And I have other things that I can focus on. In order for that to happen, you've got to decide, do you want to be someone that digs a hole or do you want to be someone that solves a Rubik's Cube? Digging a hole takes a lot of work. The problem with it is you will always be having to do the work. Solving a Rubik's Cube takes a lot of work, but once you've got it solved, then you can get others to do it. So Hope you found a lot of this interesting. Again, if you want to learn more about like how we work with gyms and how we get them to do such incredible numbers, go to 100kplan.com. You'll be able to see the breakdown. Oh, 4 levels of certainty. Here's your bonus content. Okay, 4 levels of certainty. What do people need to have max certainty in order for them to buy? So number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1, I have to have max certainty in the thing. Meaning, if let's say I want to run a marathon or whatever it is that I want to do, I want to believe that your fitness style, your modality is the modality, that thing, yoga, bar, TRX, HIIT, cycle, whatever it is. I have to believe that that thing is the exact modality that I need for my goal. I have to have max certainty that that thing is what I'm looking for. Next thing, the company. I have to believe that, okay, I know that thing is what I want. I have to believe that that company that does that thing is the best company for that thing. So let's say it's cycle. I know I want cycle. That's what I need right now in my life. That's what I need for my legs. I need for my endurance. I need cycle. Great. And I believe that this company is the best one for it. Like, I know there's like 6 other options I can go to, but like this is the company that's the best one for it. So people have to have max certainty in the thing, max certainty that your company is the right thing. And then I have to have max certainty in the rep, meaning you, the salesperson. Because if I don't feel like you truly know me and my goals, how can you appropriately get me to believe that this is the right thing for me? But if you ask me good questions and I could truly believe that you understand my goals and where I want to be and my current like limitations, and then you still say, yeah, here's why, and you're able to tie it to everything, well, now I can have a lot more confidence in the thing. So I have to, number 1, believe that you care about me and you've really taken the time to know me, and that your company is the perfect company that offers the perfect thing for me. What's the last thing then? There's 4 things. I have to have max certainty in the thing, max certainty in the company that stands behind it, max certainty in the rep, and I have to have max certainty in myself. I've quit things before. I've watched myself join and get all hopped up and then cancel. I've watched myself do it like for 2 months and then all of a sudden I stop going and I keep paying for it and I feel guilty and then I eventually cancel. I've seen it. What's going to make this time different? I have to have max certainty that this time I'm going to be able to do this. This is the type of workout and this is the type of company and these are the type of people that I've been looking for that'll get me to actually stay committed and stay disciplined. If I lack certainty, if I sacrifice any certainty in any of these areas, my probability of buying goes down. I have to believe this is the thing that I want. This is the company that is perfect for me to do it. This is the rep. This guy gets me. And also, I believe I can do this. I believe this fits my schedule. My body can do it, fits my budget. This is perfect. This is what I can do. If you have max certainty in all 4 of those things, you're good. So when you're building out your process, you have to make sure you're building out things so that all 4 of those things are covered. And you want to do it to where you never get objections. And in the link, you'll see in the description, you'll see a link to a video that we just did last week where we talk about how to never get objections because you did so good here. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to learn more about how to work with us, go to 100kplan.com and we'll see you next time.